Tonight from downtown Indianapolis, the Fever welcome in the Seattle Storm with major playoff implications on the line tonight.
All right, y'all, look, it's a big one tonight, okay? It's an important one. This has got to be our best 40 minutes. This has got to be our most intentional 40 minutes in everything that we do, okay? Look, no one person needs to do anything outside of themselves, right? But every single person in this locker room needs to be the best version of themselves.
What if I told you the Indiana Fever didn't just win a game, they rewrote the record books in a single night? 6 historic marks, all in one blowout. The Fever dismantled the Seattle Storm by 20, but the score only scratches the surface. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, her Nike logo glowing above Gainbridge, and 5 teammates also missing, Indiana didn't just hold the line, they exploded. They proved this team isn't built to survive, it's built to make history. And now they're storming back into playoff contention. One night, one statement, and a glimpse of what's coming when Clark returns. The grit, the records, the future. If you're fired up, drop it in the comments. Fired up for the Fever.
Leah Boston and Izzy McMagor in the center jump circle. We are underway from Indianapolis. Odyssey Sims tracks down the jump ball and lays it in.
Sims wearing bright pink shoes, passes to Mitchell, right corner 3. That's good! And it's a record! 771 points and counting in 2025 for Kelsey Mitchell, the most in Fever franchise history.
What do you call it when a player never touches the court, yet her presence owns the night? That was Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Caitlin Clark sat on the bench in street clothes, but the spotlight never left her. Nike turned this regular season matchup into the launchpad for her signature logo, and the arena transformed into something bigger than basketball. The Double C lit up the building, towering on giant screens outside, stamped across t-shirts handed to every fan inside. Within minutes, the crowd was a sea of white and gold, thousands wearing the mark in unison. It didn't feel like a late August game. It felt like a citywide coronation.
It was really unique, I think it's very creative for Caitlin Clark to come up with something like this. And I just enjoy all of it, it's like aura.
We love it! It's simple, yet it speaks a lot.
I love it so much.
I'm a big fan of it. Simplicity is the best. I like the design. Nike always does great with design, so I'm a huge fan of the logo.
It looks really cool. I was really excited to see it last night, and it looks like we're going to get shirts with it on it, so that's pretty exciting too.
I like it. I like how it incorporates the CC.
I love it. Double C's. Let's go, Kaylin!
Inside the arena, the energy was undeniable, buzzing before the opening tip. Caitlin Clark's absence didn't dampen the moment. If anything, it amplified it. Her brand owned the night. Gainbridge Fieldhouse had morphed into Caitlin Clark Arena. Banners draped the walls, merch flooded the concourse, and fans clutched limited edition gear like prize trophies. This wasn't just a WNBA game, it was a cultural spectacle. The pre-game ceremonies only heightened the anticipation, and every time her name was announced, the crowd erupted. 16 games into her injury layoff, Clark hadn't played a single possession. Yet she remained the loudest
Feels good. Got the pants, got the charms, necklace, zipper, everything.
But then came the tension. Clark wasn't the only Fever player in street clothes. Sophie Cunningham, Chloe BBY, Sydney Coulson, and Ari McDonald were also out, leaving Indiana with 5 key absences. The timing couldn't have been worse. The Fever had already dropped 4 of their last 5, and the playoff race was tightening into a survival test. One more stumble wouldn't just sting, it could drag them deeper down the standings, where every loss feels like a season slipping away.
B's been the one that's been most affected by all of our injuries. All of the point guards that know how to get her the ball and how they get it to her. And it's not just getting her the ball, it's where you get it to her. Getting it to her on time, on target, thinking one pass ahead, all that matters. And I thought today, her aggressiveness with the ball in her hands to the rim, getting into defenders, playing low to high instead of high to low. When she plays like that, there's nobody that can stop her. And, she set the tone for us, really on both ends. She had the NECA assignment as well and set the tone for us on both ends. And, she was terrific.
And that's where the contrast emerged. Off the court, Indiana staged a spectacle around their absent star. On the court, they rolled out a roster riddled with absences and tasked with slowing down a dangerous Storm team. Coach Stephanie White didn't sugarcoat it before tip-off. She admitted the Fever had to approach this like playoff basketball, because every game now carried that weight. Aaliyah Boston put it even plainer. It felt like May basketball, not August.
It's special. I mean, you know, there's very few people who get the opportunity to say that they have a logo and to make the impact that she makes, not just, I think, in the sport, but globally, just by being who she is. She's a connector. She brings people together. And, you know, I think for us to be a part of that, and whether it's, you know, as simple as being able to celebrate all of these things with her, or, you know, as much as walking out into the arena and seeing the whiteout on the chairs out there, it's really cool. And it's really special and shoot, I'm talking about it right now, and just feeling the intense gratitude for me personally, being in women's basketball, to be able to be a part of this moment and to celebrate.
That kind of weight left no room for Indiana to just go through the motions. The strange mix of celebration and urgency lifted the intensity from the opening tip. And while the Double C logo lit up the arena, it was someone else's hand that lit up the scoreboard. The Fever came out firing, topping 20 points in every quarter and setting a pace Seattle never matched. They never trailed, never flinched, and by the final horn the board read 95-75. This wasn't just a win, it was a climb from 8th place at tip-off to the 6th seed by night's end. Fans arrived wearing Caitlin Clark's logo, but they left buzzing about a team that turned her stage into their statement. What came next was grit, toughness, and the kind of basketball that defines a season.
And Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Oh, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
What defines the turning point in a season? The moment a team could fold under the weight of injuries but refuses to. In this game, you didn't have to wait long to find out. Just minutes into the first quarter, Gainbridge fell silent. Lexi Hull and Gabby Williams crashed head-to-head chasing a loose ball, the collision echoing through the arena. Then the sight Hull walking off with a swelling not already rising on her forehead. The crowd gasped, and in an instant the celebratory buzz of the night dissolved into uneasy quiet. With 5 teammates already sidelined, the thought of losing Hull too felt like the breaking point.
See Hull gets hit in the head there at the beginning of the game, comes back in. If you could just speak to her toughness and what it meant seeing her fight through what sure was not very pleasant.
I feel like Lexi's a definition of tough.
Yes.
I think when you just think of her as a player, the way that she hustles, she likes to get loose balls, extra offensive possessions. That's what she does. I mean, she got hit, she came back and just continued to contribute again, was a pest on defense, just making her presence felt, offensive rebounds, and that's just who Lexi is.
But less than 10 minutes later, the arena roared back to life. Hull checked into the game, the swelling still visible on her forehead, and the energy flipped instantly. Her toughness set the tone. Afterward, Aaliyah Boston kept it simple. Hull is the definition of tough, and you could see why. Coach Stephanie White didn't hold back either, calling the collision disgusting. Yet Hull herself brushed it off, downplaying the injury and even joking that everyone kept telling her she looked beautiful with the lump. That refusal to fold, that willingness to just keep going, became the spark. It gave Indiana something bigger than the scoreboard to rally behind.
Yeah, I mean, that was disgusting. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I mean, it's who she is. You know, she's just a tough young woman who battles every possession, and you know, you can never tell if she's hurt, if she's injured, if she goes down, if she gets back up. She just always has the same expression, and she just plays her butt off. And you know, I'm thankful that it wasn't worse, and thankful that she was able to come back. But she really kind of epitomizes the toughness and the grit of this team.
That moment triggered a complete shift in how Indiana played. Suddenly, they owned every possession. The rebounding battle swung into a landslide 42-22, with Hull herself pulling down 9 alongside the relentless efforts of Aerial Powers and Aaliyah Boston. And in the paint, Boston delivered pure dominance. She dropped 27 points on 10 of 18 shooting, bullying Seattle at the rim. Every touch looked like a mismatch. Every possession carried a message. Indiana wasn't here to play scared. They were here to impose their will.
Williams drive, passes, Breezy with a block. She swats Malunga. Fever in transition left to right. Powers at the right elbow. Backing down Diggins, passes left wing. Kelsey fires. Got it! The defense to offense. And the Fever lead by 10. It's 22-12 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Odyssey Sims knocks down a three.
While Boston owned the paint, Kelsey Mitchell and Odyssey Sims lit up the perimeter. Mitchell carved through screens, darted backdoor, and left Storm veteran Nneka Agwamike admitting afterward that she was the head of the snake Seattle couldn't contain. Sims added her own exclamation point not just with 22 points, but with a contested 35-foot bank shot that sent the crowd into chaos. Together, Boston, Mitchell, and Sims became a three-headed engine of dominance, each cracking 20-plus points while suffocating Seattle on both ends. The Fever weren't just winning, they were overwhelming.
Pick and roll, and DD lays it in! Lexi, left wing, rise and fire. Yes! Howard, skip pass. AB, watch three, right side. Fuck it!
Mitchell sees two. There's Boston.
Short roll into the base.
They didn't get a good look, and it's Boston to Mitchell.
That wraps up the first half. The Fever lead the Storm 50-30.
And here's the rare part, this wasn't about one hot half or a single game-changing run. Indiana stacked quarters like bricks, scoring at least 21 in every frame while holding Seattle under 20 each time. It was balance. It was consistency. It was a three-headed attack that swept the Storm straight off the floor. For a team that had stumbled through weeks of highs and lows, this was their cleanest four-quarter performance of the season. But what made it historic wasn't the margin on the scoreboard, it was what hid beneath it. Inside this win were performances that shattered the Fever record books. And the list grew longer than anyone imagined.
Boston gets the bounce. And it's Howard to Boston.
16,737 on their feet at Cambridge Fieldhouse. Final score, Fever 95, Storm 75. A statement victory for Indiana to spring ahead of Seattle in the standings.
How many pieces of history can one team carve out in a single night? For Indiana, the answer was 6. This wasn't just a convincing win over Seattle, it became one of the most record-setting games in franchise history. And the first headline belonged to Kelsey Mitchell. With 21 points, she passed Caitlin Clark's single-season scoring record a Mark Clark had set just last year. That's how quickly the standard for this young franchise keeps climbing. You can already sense it. Mitchell and Clark are destined to trade that record back and forth for years to come. But Mitchell wasn't done. She also claimed the top spot in the league for most 20-point games this season, standing above every other scorer in the WNBA.